Well, my name is Justin Pathman. I live in Palatine, Illinois, and I am a contractor. Outside of work, I obviously enjoy playing with my son. I do a lot of outdoors kind of things, rock climbing and the likes of that, and martial arts. I do a lot of walking. And I have to carry a lot of things around. Sometimes even if it's just holding something for an extended period of time with my elbow, and then I spend a lot of time on my cell phone. So having a tough elbow was proving to be quite a challenge with my job being what it was. Just being on the phone was quite a bit of a pain. What I was doing to have the pain that I came here to see you for was I had been at the gym and I was doing a series of power snatches, and it really messed up my elbow, and was doing them in rapid succession, and somehow or another I just got it out of line and kept repeating it that way. And I recall very vividly later in the day my elbow was hurting, and then I happened to run into my toddler niece who smacked it with a ratchet, and it hurt a lot. Probably walked around with that for three or four months with it not really getting any better. I tried bands and I tried ibuprofen, large quantities of vitamin C, which is an old weightlifter's tale, and it was when I ran into Kate. I had a elbow brace on, and she asked me what happened, and informed me that she had a treatment that could help. I never heard of anything like ARP before, and if I might be honest with you, I suspect you may have other customers that feel the same way. I was very hesitant that it was going to work for me. I wouldn't have been here if I hadn't known you guys before. I just would have walked away because it just didn't seem like it would be the thing for me. It did sound too good to be true. That would be a good analogy. It just, it just didn't seem like the logic was there in my head. I couldn't wrap my head around it. So one of those things they're not. If it's not tested, you have a hard time, or if it's not conventional, you have a hard time wrapping your head around it. But I'm glad I tried it. After I heard about it with Kate, I did do a little bit of research on ARP and found that it wasn't as new as I thought it was, that it actually, in different variations, had been around, and that quite a few people, quite a few professional athletes were using it, so it was intriguing to me. The first treatment was, it was just different. You didn't know what to expect, but the first treatment, we were Skyped in with another gentleman, and he kind of talked through it, and by the end I was intrigued, and it was hoping to see good results. I had a more favorable. I would say that I had, after my first visit, more of a hope that it was going to work than I did when I came there just an hour prior. The ARP gave me some ideas as to how the body mechanics work, and I could find that the pain wasn't actually coming from my elbow, which is probably the most interesting part about it. So I was treating my elbow. It was a form of tennis elbow, basically, and where I was actually ended up finding where the pain originated from was a imbalance in my tricep. I was trying to relieve the pain by going to the source of the pain, but what the ARP was showing me was that the pain was coming from another location that I never would have thought to look into, let alone remedy, had I not had the ARP treatment. And now, even a year later, when I'm experienced that pain to any extent, I know where to go for it to relieve it. So I did do this over a year ago, but I remembered that the first couple of visits is when, after maybe the second or third, is when I actually had the pain start to subside. And at first it subsided rather rapidly, and then it kind of held steady and diminished with less intensity But by the time I left, I knew that I was, better. So the feeling of the treatment is odd. It's something that you have to get used to. It's something that you can't really describe. I wouldn't call it painful. I would just call it a intensity that you're just not used to. I didn't dread it. I won't say that I lived for it, but I certainly it wasn't. It just became something that you did to get better, and a reminder of that something was happening. Well, I remember directly after my workouts, I would get pretty hungry, and I knew that based on the amount of muscle contractions that I should be getting adequate amounts of protein. So I did really up my protein intake immediately following the workouts, and that seemed to help with the hunger, and also seemed to help with the soreness that you were having, which is again a good sign of development. I was sleeping well because I was getting, for lack of a better word, exercise. And despite the fact that I was probably actually going to the gym less off during those parts, just for especially the first few weeks, because I didn't want to overdo it. The pain is immensely better than it was ever before with ARP. Emphatically, I would say that ARP was successful in treating my injury, more so than I ever had any hope for when I first started, and probably more so than I would have if I had gone any conventional way. I feel that I would have lost a lot more time at work and a lot more time in my personal life at the gym or whatnot had I gone a more conventional way without any better results. So, I mean, that's really what sold me. Wasn't anything other than there was less recovery time because it was all external and I didn't have surgery or a cast or anything that would require me to change my lifestyle that much. The staff was great. They made me feel very comfortable in a compromised position. I never felt any less awkward than anybody could being shocked or in a compromised position. But yeah, I mean, the staff made it as easy as possible. What I really liked about the staff was they had a lot of enthusiasm for their job. I felt like they weren't just trying to sell me on the process, that they believed in it themselves, and that they enjoyed what they were doing, that they knew that they could tell that they were happy bringing progress to me. It was nice because it did work with my schedule. It wasn't, you must be here 4 days a week and you must be here at this time. It was, when's the next time you can be here? Here's when you should be here, and try to make it in or around then, and that was really helpful for somebody that's very busy.